Welcome one and all to the Crucible of Chaos, the Grand Colosseum of Carnage. Today, you stand on hallowed ground, soaked in the sweat, blood, and glory of legends past. Warriors, madmen, and beasts, brace yourselves for the most insane battle this world has ever witnessed. Let the madness begin. Fight!
The air hung thick with dust, and the stench of blood as the hero stood alone in the heart of the arena. His name was lost to the wind, but his presence burned fierce. A scarred figure clad in battered armor, gripping a notched sword in one hand and a dented shield in the other. Sweat stung his eyes. His chest heaved with every ragged breath. Yet he stood tall, unbowed, surrounded by the snarls of monsters born from nightmare. He barely had time to breathe before another horror slithered from the shadows. The impact jolted his arm, but he held firm, driving his blade into its chest. The monster screeched, thrashing wildly, and he gritted his teeth, twisting the steel until it stilled, collapsing in a heap at his feet. The hero lost. His sword slipped from his grasp, clattering uselessly against the blood-stained sand. His knees buckled, his breath ragged, his vision blurred with sweat and pain. The shadowed horror loomed over him, shifting, warping, the thing of nightmares given form. The crowd, once roaring with thunderous cheers, had fallen silent. They knew, he knew, this was the end. Chains erupted from the ground, coiling around his wrists, his ankles, his throat, burning, searing, pulling. The ground beneath him trembled, cracking open into a void darker than night, deeper than eternity. The stench of sulfur rushed forth, thick and suffocating. He fought, he struggled, but the chains only tightened, dragging him down, down. The last thing he saw was the arena above, shrinking, fading, as the pit swallowed him whole. Then fire. Hell awaited. The warrior fought. Even in hell, he refused to break. Clawed fiends, towering demons, wraiths of shadow and spite. All came for him. He had no sword, no shield. His fury, and a will that burned hotter than the flames around him. He tore through the damned, breaking bone, ripping flesh, striking with a rage that even the abyss could not smother. But no matter how many he felled, more came. His body ached, torn and battered, yet something inside him pulled him forward. An instinct, an unseen force whispering to his very soul. It led him through the scorched wasteland, past rivers of molten rock, through fields of jagged obsidian, where the screams of the tormented echoed endlessly. And then he found it. A pit of lava, deeper than sight, glowing with an unnatural fire, different from the flames that devoured this forsaken place. This fire was alive, pulsing, ancient. It called to him, resonating within his bones, as if it had been waiting for him. Without hesitation, without thought, he jumped. The molten heat should have consumed him, reduced him to ash, but instead, it embraced him. Fire flooded his veins, filling the void left by his suffering, replacing agony with power. He did not burn. He became, then, light. A rupture in reality. A force beyond comprehension yanked him from the depths. The fire still clung to him, twisting, reshaping, fusing into his very being. He gasped, drawing breath not of sulfur, but of the world he had lost. The sky above was no longer shrouded in smoke, but clear. The earth beneath him was solid, real. He had returned, but he was no longer the man he once was. In his palm lay a smoldering ember, a seed of fire, pulsing with raw, untamed energy. It was a gift, a remnant of the abyss, a mark of his trial. The power roared through him, igniting his soul. Flames danced across his skin, not to harm, but to serve. His wounds sealed, his body strengthened, his eyes burned with newfound light. Hell had tried to break him. Instead, it had forged him anew. The warrior had fought demons, monsters, and even death itself, but nothing prepared him for this. This beast was fire, but so was he. Summoning every ounce of his newfound power, he lunged,